and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that has welcomed back Cara Maria. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 39, Battle for a New Champion, Episode 12. And can I just say, now this was an episode. Last week's episode, I said, was probably my least favorite episode. The exact opposite for this one. This one was running on all cylinders for me. I mean, we could see the power shifting, people who were on the bottom actually taking moves, making moves, having those conversations to put them in a better light, better alliance, as well as Cara Maria comes in and starts stirring up the chaos. Now, I know I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, and I'll get more into details and how I'm feeling about this episode as we go through the review and recap. Let's first start off where last episode left off, and that was Raven winning against Laurel in the elimination and coming back to the challenge house. Raven is ecstatic, and why shouldn't she be? She just won another elimination, and not only that, she won against Laurel, but she has to be wary and alert with rumblings inside the house because she could easily be voted in again. I mean, she was just voted in by one of her best friends, Mariah, in the house, and her boo thing, James. Michelle is back at the house, wiping sweat from her brow because she just really dodged Laurel there. Michelle has been sitting pretty this whole entire season with a great social game, and really the only thing that could have really thrown off her game in a major way was Laurel picking the chaos pole, picking Michelle to play in the elimination game against her, but that did not happen, so Michelle is feeling a huge sense of relief. Somebody who isn't feeling a sense of relief is Kylan. He feels he can trust Nurys and Horacio, but is still worried about Michelle, Jay, Olivia, and feels, in quotes, that tides are shifting. Olivia, on the other hand, is feeling a little self-doubt about herself because she doesn't know if she could live up to what she was last season. That everybody has expectations for her coming into this house and into this game, and she doesn't feel like she's living up to them, or if she can live up to them. Which, can I just say, Olivia, you're doing a great job social game-wise, but honestly, you're not giving in this season. Now, the next day, we do see a conversation between Olivia and Nurys about Horacio. Michelle asked Nurys, hey, do you find it kind of weird that Horacio is hanging around Zara all the time? No, not at all. I trust him 100%. Think it's great that he has a friend in Zara to hang out with because he gives me a ton of attention on a daily basis that we do need our time apart. This is when Olivia is like, yeah, but I know that question wasn't directed towards me, but I feel some kind of way with Horacio hanging out with Zara all the time and Nurys all the time and not having a single conversation with me. Olivia goes as far as to say that Horacio is selfish and a taker. And this is where the tension in the kitchen between Nurys and Olivia is at an all-time high. Not only is Olivia trash-talking Nurys' man, but also we saw in an edit just a few minutes earlier that Nurys was talking with her family back home, and one of Nurys' family members said, Olivia has been fake, has been telling people that Nurys is on the challenge because she is broke, and essentially spreading rumors about Nurys. So what was once seemed like a very strong friendship between not only Olivia and Horacio, and then Olivia and Nurys, has now formed major cracks in it, to the point where we can definitely see tides are shifting in this alliance/friendship. But we're going to have to put a pin in that because this is the point of the episode where everybody dons their challenge gear, meets up with TJ at this week's daily challenge called We All Fall Down. This will be ran in teams of 4. 2 teams at a time will be competing against each other on top of this tower in the middle of water, and they're going to have to use this giant wall to try to push the other team off the tower. The team to do that we'll move on to the next round. This will be played in tournament style where team 1 versus team 2, and then team 3 versus team 4, and then whoever wins those 2 matches will face off against each other to see who will win into power and win into safety. Let's go over the teams real quick. Team 1, we have Asaf, Colleen, Jay, and Raven. Team 2, we have James, Kylan, Michelle, and Mariah. Team 3, we have Coriel, Emmanuel, Nurys, and Olivia. And team 4, we have Berna, Ed, Horacio, and Zara. Now, what I love, we get the team meetings of Team 2 where Michelle feels singled out. They just had a Women's Day. People are expecting it to be a Men's Day this time, and Michelle is on a team with the scapegoats of Kyland and James. And before they got onto camera, all 3 of the team members basically came to Michelle saying, "Don't throw this. We know we're not your favorite people to work with in the house, but at least try." And Michelle feels so hurt by this. She's taking it so personally. Me? Throw the competition? Who would ever think that me, Michelle, would throw a competition with Kyland and James on my team? I would never. The audacity. I mean, we kind of saw that in a previous daily challenge already when Kyland and Michelle were paired up and Michelle wasn't giving her 100%. So I love that we have Kyland, James, and Mariah kind of holding Michelle's feet to the fire and holding her accountable, kind of calling her out. This is my life on the line, and I don't care if I hurt your feelings or not. I want you to actually try in this daily challenge. Love to see it. Love this challenge, by the way. I think that this was a really fun challenge. I like that it wasn't all just brute strength. I love that there was strategy to this. I love the wall. I love the setup. I love the tournament style bracket. I love that the teams seemed pretty balanced. One of the best daily challenges of the season. I think it's my favorite daily challenge so far on this season. But now let's get into what happened. We have Team 1 versus Team 2. And Team 2 had a great strategy of spinning this wall to keep their opponents on their heels to make them try to have to stop the wall. And once they stop the wall, you kind of have them in prime spot as like sitting ducks to then just use your power that Team 2 had with James and Kyland, and they worked well with each other, and Team 2 was able to take out Team 1 rather easily. You have Team 3 versus Team 4, and even though Corey L is the biggest dude in this heat, the Team 4 that kind of deemed themselves as underdogs really worked well with each other. They had the strategy down, they had the teamwork down, and they don't have any qualms against each other. Whereas in Team 3, after the rounds were over, you had Nerys very upset with Coriel and his strategy and what he was doing up there. The communication in Team 3 was really bad, and Team 4 was able to do a strategy that was similar to Team 2 and get the win. This daily challenge comes down to Team 4 versus Team 2, and both had very similar strategies coming into this round, but it was Team 4 that was able to get Team 2 very close to the edge early on, and they were able to dunk their competition. Team 4 of Berna, Ed, Horacio, and Zara win. And TJ then tells them this week they have to nominate one woman. And they're going around the circle telling them who they can't nominate. And the 2 nominees come down to Colleen and Raven as the 2 major players that they feel they can nominate without getting a ton of blowback from the house. Now, the interesting thing is that Berna goes and says that Michelle is her queen, and Horacio does say, yeah, but she's everybody's. And that is important because later on, when everybody goes back to the challenge house, Ed tells this to Michelle that Horacio did make a comment when Michelle's name was brought up, and this sends kind of panic alarms when mixed with other information that Asaf brings to both Jay and Michelle throughout the episode. But again, getting ahead of myself, we get down to who the Team 4 nominated, and they say that it was 3 votes to 1 to nominate Colleen. So Colleen is nominated, and coming back to the challenge house, she is upset. They kind of write down everybody who is in the alliance, the Nerys alliance, the Michelle alliance, the Michelle J alliance, and kind of put everybody in perspective of where everybody sits. And Colleen is just tired of it. Emmanuel is tired of it. Asaf, who is playing a very strong middle of the fence game at this moment because he takes all of this information, runs over and tells Jay and Michelle everything, which then gets them a little panicked. We do see a little paranoia from Jay and Michelle this entire episode. And Michelle even says at one point, the worker bees are starting to figure out that they are on the bottom and they're gonna come for the queen bee at some point. The next day, we get a little bit of the conversations around the house of who could be the house vote. Colleen is really wanting to push for Mariah. Why is her name not even being brought up? Well, it's because Mariah is so close with Michelle, and Michelle has the strings to make everything move in this house. And Mariah even says that, I don't know, it could be me this time, but Michelle looks over the names of people in the alliance and in the house and goes, no, it's not going to be you. It's most likely going to be Raven, which, yeah, it's going to be Raven. So a lot of this house vote talk is just kind of like, let's just get it over with. There hasn't really been any unpredictability with the house vote, so let's not beat around the bush. Whereas, who could it be? Who could it be? No, it's going to be Raven 100%. Even Raven and Zara are talking about it, and Raven feels like it's 100% going to be her. Now let's get back to the paranoia between Jay and Michelle, where Jay is talking to Olivia, and Jay is asking point blank, is Horacio coming for me? And Olivia says, look, I don't really talk to the man, but he is hanging out with Kyland and Zara, who feel like they're on the outs. I don't feel like I can trust him at this point, but I feel indebted to him because last season, it was my injury that got us medically DQ'd and took us out of the final, and he worked so hard in that. I felt like he did so much in the challenges for us. It feels like I am indebted to him to have to look out for him and watch out for his back. And Jay is like, screw that. It was your social game that helped get you that far into the season and helped get you to the finals. It wasn't all Horacio and none of you throughout the whole year. It was 50-50 helping you out. So you don't owe this man Jack Diddley. And Olivia's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, at a certain point, for how many times Olivia talked about not having conversations with Horacio, and then Horacio even having a conversation with Zara being like, I should go talk to Olivia. There was no conversations that were shown in this episode between Horacio and Olivia. If you guys are worried or wanting to talk, or if this is a big enough issue and your friendship is priority enough, you would find time to talk. But nothing is taking place to have the conversations necessary to reassure each other that we are looking out for one another. So this is total failure to communication on both sides. I just don't think they're meshing, and it kind of puts into question, how ride or die are they really? This is where we move on to a conversation between Kyland and Colleen, where Colleen is talking to Kyland about mashing up together. What if we join forces? I don't like this alliance. They nominated me. I can't trust them. I'm clearly at the bottom of everybody's list. I am not a priority, and I want to start an alliance with you where I am much higher on your list than their list. Asaf, who is stretching around the area, takes this information and scurries over to Jay, Michelle, Nerys, the Fantastic Four that they call themselves. If any of these players who are trying to revolt get into power and outnumber them in a daily challenge after winning a daily challenge, then the Stable 7 could be in trouble. I do love to see the little bit of paranoia because people have been sitting too pretty. I mean, Jay even said like, oh, I've been just hanging by the pool, but now I gotta clock in episode 12. Thanks for showing up, Jay. The same thing with Michelle. Like, I understand you were sitting pretty. Nobody was wanting to come after you, which I put that fully on the other players in the alliances and in this game, that if you cannot see that these players are sitting pretty and pulling all the strings and you don't know where you stand in the alliance of like 15, then that's on you for not kicking up dirt earlier on in this game. But at the same time, better late than never, in my opinion. Let's go to the nomination, which is boring. Raven gets 11 votes. Mariah gets 1 vote. The 1 vote came from Kyland, who didn't want to say Raven's name. Now, Raven and Kyland seem to have this connection with each other. The same thing with Zara and Horacio. We do see a small conversation happening right before we get to the arena. And it's between Coriel and Raven, and they're talking, and Coriel admits that he is playing a scared game because of everything he was doing and how hard he was playing and his connections with members outside of the alliance with Melissa and Big T, and it got really messy. He was playing too hard, he says, and it scared him. It scared him right back into the arms of the alliance of Michelle. I mean, he's wearing Callum's hamper to try to make Michelle feel good about that. It's like, what are you talking about? Coriel admits that he was playing a scared game, but he wants to start playing the game the way a champion would play. Again, more conversations of people admitting that they're playing a scared game and that they want to change. And these conversations just make this episode feel fresh. Because we can look at this episode, you can look at past episodes and go, why are you doing this? Why are you playing such a scared game? But you don't know if they know it or not, or if they're going to admit it or not. And just hearing somebody, one person say, I don't like my position in the game. I don't like how I've been playing this game. I have been playing scared. and now I want to do something about it. Well, thank you for admitting it. It makes me feel like I'm not going crazy, but we're going to put a pin in that because now we get to the arena where Raven and Colleen are down on the arena floor with TJ, where TJ even makes a comment seeing Raven being nominated again, being like, no way, you gotta be kidding me. Love hearing TJ be frustrated with this. But now it's time for TJ to announce that one of his favorite players and one of the best to ever play this game will be playing in this week's elimination, and he calls out Cara Maria. Again, no GOAT mention of greatest of all time, as certain other players were mentioned, but I have to say, him saying one of the best and 100% my favorite player makes it feel good. Makes it feel good. And can I just say, kind of got a little emotional seeing Cara Maria running out in the arena. It's been so long, and seeing her run out there with a giant smile on her face, ready to take on the knockoffs, as she called them, it gave me goosebumps. I was so excited. Before doing the draw, Cara Maria does look to Raven and Colleen, asking how many times they've been nominated to come down here. Colleen says twice, Raven says 3 times. And Colleen also gives her the information that none of the other women up there has come down to the arena, who are eligible to be chosen, I should say, because Zara was nominated, or she volunteered herself, but she was completely safe. So Cara Maria looks at everybody going like, oh, okay, so these two are being picked on, and I don't like bullies. So she's going down the line, starts with Michelle saying, if I pick Chaos, who should I pick if not you? Michelle's trying to give a political answer. I don't know. I don't like throwing people under the bus. And Cara Maria says, all right, I'm choosing you. If I choose Chaos, I'm choosing you, orange shirt. Now, we do hear from the confessionals that Cara Maria kind of had a heads up about Michelle coming into this arena, because Paulie played against or played with Michelle in USA Season 2, and Paulie came back home and said that Michelle girl was playing a little bit of a snake game. Get a little Paulie reference in here, as well as give a little backstory on why I want to take on Michelle, which it makes it all that much sweeter as Cara Maria pulling Chaos and saying, orange shirt, come on down. I'm telling you right now, I was jazzed up. I was on the edge of my seat throughout this entire time, from Cara Maria calling them knockoffs, questioning who she should choose, and then pulling the Chaos. I was like, this is it. This is what the season is all about, and I loved it. I loved every second of this. I love that Cara Maria was just eating up the camera time, stirring as much chaos as she could in her welcome home to the challenge. I loved it. Now, what kind of brought me back down to earth was when TJ announced what elimination game that they would be playing, and they would be playing Blockheads, which is a giant puzzle. We cannot escape these puzzles. With these giant blocks, you have to move them from all over the arena to your puzzle station, your raised platform, and then put the puzzle together. The first person to put their puzzle together would win. Cara Maria isn't the best at puzzles, but she is really, really strong. And she was using that to her advantage, grabbing all the puzzle pieces, moving them much quicker and much easier than Michelle. But Michelle is known as being a puzzle queen. For Cara Maria to win, she would need to grab all of her puzzle pieces as quickly as possible to have more time putting the puzzles together than Michelle. But Michelle, who, even though there's some people that would love to see her go home to see how much chaos would take over the house, there was a ton of people still helping Michelle. Nobody was necessarily helping Cara Maria, who really needed some help in this puzzle. I do love that she blocked Michelle's puzzle piece at one point, making her do extra work. But when it came down to it, Michelle was able to put her puzzle together well before Cara Maria did, and Michelle won. And she is feeling on top of the world. Not only was she called out, but she won an elimination, won against Cara Maria, won in a puzzle, and she is taking bows on top of the puzzle. She's having her moment. She is drinking this all in. And Cara Maria, unfortunately, is eliminated. But even in saying that, I am so happy that we got to see Cara Maria on our TV. Cara Maria stirring up chaos. Cara Maria bringing that entertainment value that so desperately needed in this season. And I am so happy for this episode. Do I wish Cara Maria would have won? Sure, why not? It would have really shook a lot of things up in the house. But what she did was breathe new life into this game, and I love to see it. And Michelle deserved to get this win. Again, another puzzle. Who would have known? Who would have known another puzzle? Can't get a balls in at any point. But again, this episode was awesome. Looking at the preview to next week's episode, it looks like there's going to be a lot shifting and actual moves being made, that people are actually going to be angry, that this new alliance will be taking in some power, which I'm very, very excited. But that is it for this episode's review and recap. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this episode as much as I did? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if not, let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. What did you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about the elimination? What did you think about Cara Maria coming back in? Were you excited to see Cara Maria back in this game? Do you hope she would have won? Let me know down in the comment section below. And who do you think could be in the hot seat in next week's episode with the men's day and the tides changing? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. At this point, I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 39 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.
So happy to be in an elimination. I'm like, TJ! Like, you could, the biggest smile in the whole world to see TJ again, to be in the challenge arena, to see, I know we're not supposed to talk about them, but to see people from production that I haven't seen in years. Like, I was just so happy and so thankful to be back. Like, and I was just excited to play.